I want to be a cartoon. And this little popsicle stick puppet situation isn't gonna cut it. I want more. I want animation. I want life. Ah! But animating everything I make takes forever. It's just not feasible. My wrist would fall off and my bones would shrivel away before I got anywhere substantial. And if you're listening to this and thinking the answer is AI, no, ew, get out of here with that. We don't do that here. Besides, there's something way cooler than that anyway. Okay, now, some of you have probably heard of this tech if you're online enough, but also I think every single person in my actual life who will see this video is not chronically on Twitch, so let me explain. If you take the technology in Face ID, you know, the thing that lets you unlock your phone without putting in your password, and you use all of the facial parameters that it keeps track of, and you put it into a piece of art that is rigged particularly to move in specific ways depending on what those parameters say, then you could do some really cool shit. What this basically leaves you with is an avatar you can pop it around with your face, which is called a virtual YouTuber or Vtuber. And admittedly, the vast majority are anime girls or furries or anime girls that are also furries. And those things are great, but not really my thing. But if you can get an artist who could draw it in an art style you like, you can make a VTuber model look however you want. And luckily, I am an artist that draws in an art style I like. So, step one is already basically done. So, what's the vibe? Black and white comic book character, film noir kind of thing? A radio announcer from the 1930s. Just combining a bunch of aesthetics I like into what I hope is a cohesive whole. It actually took a lot of fiddling to fight the stupid Procreate layer limit, and I made a colossal amount of mistakes in this part of the process that I had to go back and fix later as I learned stuff. You know, if I had known that even the art part would be difficult, I might not have even tried to learn how to do this, but it's a good thing I went in with misplaced confidence and the project actually happened. Yippee. Now what's step 2, you ask? Black magic, the mere sight of which would immolate a mere mortal such as yourself. By which I mean live 2D rigging. What in the... Oh dear God. So, the basic idea of rigging is that you take the parameters that get fed into the model, something like, for example, how far left or right you turn your head, and then you shove the art around in ungodly ways, twisting it to look as if it's turned in 3D space. And since it's separated into so many different layers, the different parts can move separately from each other to sell the illusion better than just warping the crap out of a single PNG. I am so grateful for the people who make tutorials on this, because even with those, this was a trial to figure out how to get everything right. When I eventually did figure out the basics though, I couldn't get myself to stop fiddling with it and adding stuff and just trying to work out all the kinks. I spent genuinely days in a fugue state doing nothing but tweak things and adding a whole bunch of bells and whistles. The void beckoned to me and I answered. With an anime glasses toggle and the ability to lean back, because I'm chill like that. Since I was so picky, I ended up exporting from Live2D like probably at least a dozen times over the course of a few weeks. Just every time making a new list of things to add and things to fix. But I wasn't satisfied. My hubris knew no bounds. I had to make this thing as expressive and as accurate as I possibly could.
Rigging it is surprisingly not the worst thing ever. It's not for beginners. I'd rate it like a 6.5 out of 10. It's not for beginners.
So I added hands. Now they are janky as all get out. I can totally see why so many big streamers just don't do this. I believe this technology is actually pretty experimental. Oh my god. But for me personally, I feel like the expressiveness of being able to point at stuff and talk with my hands, outweighs the fact that it sort of destroys the illusion a little bit, I think they're pretty cool. Even though they use like 100% of my computer's RAM just on their own, send help. So yeah, now I have this. I'm planning to use it for videos in the future and hopefully streams as well. I don't have a timeline for when that'll be happening, but if you want to see them, follow me on Twitch at theoreticallyartsy so you'll be notified when I do. So yeah, now that I've completed my metamorphosis into a cartoon, I guess you'll never have to see my stupid flesh face again.
Yeah, you're gonna have to try harder than that, sorry.
I guess the moral of the story is do hard things, try stuff, learn stuff. You can accomplish some crazy things if you're just like a little bit delusional about it, you know? So, cheers to that. Go, make something. Yes, you. Don't just sit in your butt watching YouTube. I believe in you. Dang, this hand tracking really is CPU intensive. Maybe I need to... Uh-oh.